Okay, hello and welcome everybody. This is going to be a quickish kind of video. There's been a Rally Point 27 that was just released today, and they have just announced the first DLC, well, the proper DLC campaign pack for Total War Attila. It is called The Last Roman. It is obviously set 150 years, I think they said, after Attila is on, but this is the content that it obviously adds, and obviously I'll go through the list of stuff that they've put on here. This is the information we've got at the moment. Obviously some things will be released at a certain date. Also they'll be announcing the freeLC will come with it, so obviously we should in theory get another faction that comes with the campaign pack for normal people who don't buy this DLC, etc. But obviously about the content, we have a huge new campaign map. It pretty much looks like Hannibal.The Gates, to be perfectly honest, but obviously a little bit more in depth. We have the new faction, which is called the Roman Expedition, with new gameplay features. It adds stuff, obviously, like horde mode, but you can also, what's the word for it? You can reclaim old territories, which were roughly the Western Roman Empire at the time. Obviously, we'll go into that in a minute. There's 5 playable factions with additional units, techs, and buildings. To be honest, there's only one new faction. The other 4 are ones we've already played as, but it's in this campaign pack, and that's, to be honest, in this time of history, they are the most profound. A dramatic story-based campaign challenge. So this is the premise of the Last Roman. The year is AD 533. Within the last century, the Western Roman Empire has been wiped from the face of the earth. However, the final bastion of Rome's glory lives on the Roman Empire of the East. This still formidable power dreams fitfully of regaining its last grandeur. Emperor Justinian knows this. There is but one desperate gamble left, an ambitious and dangerous venture to recover what rightfully is his, to reconquer the West before all that Rome once stood for its lost history. The task is Herculean. With barbarian kingdoms now established and thriving around the Mediterranean, there's only one possible man to lead such an expedition. His father's former bodyguard, hero of the Battle of Dara and the ruthless oppressor of the Nicaea riots, Belisarius is the final hope of a dying empire, the last of the true Romans. So basically, Belisarius, in obviously real history, tried to recapture some territories which were obviously lost in the Western Roman Empire at this period of time, because the Eastern Empire survived quite a long time after the Western Roman Empire did. Obviously, places like Italy, France, Spain, pretty much Africa as well, have been taken over by barbarians. So obviously, Justinian sends Belisarius on the Roman expedition, which is the DLC, to go over and recapture these fallen territories. So it's a unique campaign with a new gameplay mechanics. The Last Roman campaign pack is an epic expansion for Total War Attila, delivering a narrative, mission-based experience on a new, highly detailed campaign map of the Mediterranean theatre. Changing the veteran Total War player with the role of Belisarius and his Roman expedition, you must reclaim Rome's lost territories from savage hostile forces. The struggle to fulfill your duty as servant of the Emperor Justinian is brought to life by a series of new story events and missions. The Emperor and the Empress and your own wife, Antonia.The, for your attention. Demanding audience and other contradictory services. Completing these tasks provide you with men and supplies you need, but offending the wrong person will greatly weaken the fragile expedition. Alternatively, you might declare independence and attempt to re-establish the Western Roman Empire under your own banner, seeking glory and immortality away from the court of Constantinople. Well, that's actually one thing I'll probably do. I'll try to do some missions for them so I can build my forces up and then just reclaim the Western Roman Empire as my own. That sounds quite jokes. I might do that. Will you stay loyal to Justinian's vision or reclaiming Rome for the barbarians? Or will you follow your own path, establishing yourself as a new emperor in the West? So we've got a new campaign map. The Last Romans campaign map is a vast and highly detailed representation of Central Western Europe in 533 AD, featuring 35 provinces across over 100 regions, including Italy, North Africa, Spain, and France. So this is what I was saying, it's zoomed in, kind of like Hannibal.The Gates of the grand campaign map. It's basically Hannibal.The Gates, but for Attila. This is the playable factions that we're going to be using. We have got the Last Roman offers 5 playable factions. The brand new Roman expedition, which is from Belisarius, obviously, but also the Ostrogoths, the Vandals, the Franks, and the Visigoths. To be honest, we've already got them in the campaign, but historically, these are the factions that are going to be laying rampant when it's the fall of the Roman Empire. So it kind of makes sense, but it's a bit meh. So the only faction I will be playing as is and doing a campaign on will be the Roman expedition, as I don't see the point on the other ones. They have obviously got a rehash of new units, which I'll go over in a minute, but let's read the rest of this. The Vandalic kingdom is threatened by rebellious Sardinia and the looming Roman danger, with the Ostrogoths kingdom is hamstrung by its pro-Roman queen and the demands of unworkable alliance. Both seek to solidify their borders and make the most of Italy's rich and fertile lands, but Belisarius' reputation precedes him, and they know a cornered animal will fight to the last. For the Franks and Visigoths, the return of the Romans presents an opportunity. Both are growing kingdoms, fueled by a youthful vigour and a thirst for conquest. Now the time is right for them to expand. With the other great powers locked in conflict for control of distant Africa, Europe lies waiting for a new great empire to rise from Rome's ashes. So, we have now got the new units. Alongside revisited unit rosters, the primary factions in Last Roman also feature the following new units. So this is obviously for the Roman expedition. This is a new faction. The rest will be for the Vandals, Ostrogoths and stuff like that. I think I've only got it for free on the page for this at the moment. So yeah, we've only got new units written down for these three factions. So potentially there'll be some for the other two factions. And obviously, I don't see why they wouldn't be, and the freeLC faction, which they will announce in the next podcast, they said. So for the Roman expedition, we've got the Basilarii, which is guard cavalry, the Foederati, which is sword infantry, the Scoletai, sword infantry, Antisciani, which is sword infantry, the Lumertani, spear infantry, Scoletai spears, spear infantry, Scoletai axemen, axe infantry, obviously, Balisaria guard axemen, axe infantry, Cataphractii, shock cavalry, Spiani, shock cavalry, Brisarii, shock cavalry, Foederati cavalry, melee cavalry, Foederati horse archers, missile cavalry, and the Hippo Toxitai, missile cavalry. That's obviously for the Roman expedition force. Well, where they're starting in the east, they're obviously going to have the eastern influences with Cataphractii, horse cavalry and stuff like that. And then once they start pushing westwards, they can gather new units. Obviously, you can liberate old Western Roman Empire areas and then reclaim them as yours. You can gain their armies and their provinces and stuff like that. For the Vandals, we've got the Vandal horsemen, melee cavalry, noble Vandal cavalry, melee cavalry, Vandali Comateus, which is shock cavalry, Moorish levy spear infantry, which is obviously going to be the African influence for the Vandals, because historically that's where they went, and noble Vandal swordsmen, melee infantry. For the Ostrogoths, we've got the Sectarii, missile infantry, elite Sectarii, missile infantry, Balistarii, which is the crossbowmen, missile infantry, Luvanese, melee infantry, Milates, sword infantry, spear Milates, spear infantry, Milates comitates, sword infantry, spear Milati comitates. I'm butchering all these pronunciations, but who cares? Spear infantry, veterans, sword infantry, spear veterans, spear infantry, domesticai, elite infantry, shakakali, elite cavalry, commies, which is a general's unit, javelin men, basic skirmishers, and noble javelin men, elite skirmishers. So they've got a mixed bag. Spears, obviously, and a lot of missile infantry as well. And now we're moving on to new technologies and buildings. We have got, so ready for this. The last Roman campaign pack features many new technologies and buildings. The Roman expedition displays a heavily modified Roman technology tree containing 20 new technologies and an entirely new expedition-specific building tree. If independence is declared, the expedition's building options revert to traditional Roman styles, better suited to the ambitious or of an upstart, usurping emperor. The other playable factions also feature new combinations of Western Roman and barbarian technologies and buildings. Okay, so that's obviously all the news we've got at the moment. It seems quite interesting. The release date for this is on the June 25th, which will coincide with a new Attila patch. Once the patch notes have come out, I'll do a video about that as well, because obviously that's just for the base game. Well, the game in general. They generally do this with DLC packs. They done it for Imperial to Augustus, which was a free DLC, but they obviously done a massive patch that coincide with it, so it gets rid of bugs and unit balancing and stuff like that. And obviously we've got a new DLC. So tell me what you guys think about this. To be honest, it's not the best setting. I thought they'd probably try and do something a little bit different, but it seems okay. I probably wouldn't play as the other factions, even though they are going to slightly have different variations, but we can play them already in the campaign. So if you want to follow me or subscribe to me, please hit the like button for this video. Hit the subscribe button. I will be doing a Roman expedition campaign, so don't worry about that. If you want to see that kind of content, then stay here and tell me what you think and what you're going to be playing as yourself. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye, guys.